Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I'm Lauren. I'm a wife and a new mom. I came up with the idea of this podcast after struggling to find mommy groups around me when my son was born. I wanted a community of mothers I heard so many of my friends talk about when they had their children. This podcast is to help mothers like me that want a community of mothers to connect with when they have their free time. Together with my usual guest, Taryn, and other mothers, we will share our experiences, not our advice, through motherhood, and hopefully get some tips from you, the listeners. So come join us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. We just had the craziest mic check, so we're a little silly. But today I am here with Taryn. Hi, Taryn.
Hi, how are you?
And we today are going to talk about sickness, but I just want to say before Taryn got here, I had the house to myself for 5 full minutes.
Oh, man.
I know. My husband took our son out to go for a walk, and I was just sitting in the house, and I was like, well, I can't do anything in 5 minutes, so I'm just going to sit here in absolute silence and not do anything.
That's the most amazing thing ever.
And I had a snack.
Did I tell you about the weekend I had without my husband or my children?
Oh my gosh.
That was amazing. We could do a whole episode just on that.
I know.
I sat in silence for most of the weekend, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, and you probably didn't leave the house at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's so funny when you finally get the house to yourself. And it's like a shock to me because now my husband works from home. He didn't used to work from home, but after we had our son, he started a new job and he works from home now. So it's like he's always here. So now I'm like, oh. So I never, even with just my son and me, I don't even have the house to myself.
We're like the opposite because my husband and I have opposite work schedules.
Exactly.
So we're rarely home together at the same time.
I know. So it's definitely an adjustment. So we'll have to do an episode, about that sometime. What it's like to actually be home in your own house alone. So
the thing dreams are made of.
I know. Such simple things that we go after. So anyway, today's episode is all about being sick. Hopefully that's what I said at the beginning of this episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
We record a bunch at the same time, so sometimes I mix them all up. But okay, so today is all about sickness.
And not necessarily our kids being sick,
no,
right?
But us also being sick, and maybe the combination of the sickness going through the entire household.
Oh, sharing is caring.
Oh, it is. Let me tell you. So, obviously, my son's almost 10 months now, and he was born at the end of April. I got sick in November. And so it's March now. I've been sick pretty much. I've never gone 10 days since November, the beginning of November, without being sick.
I can attest to that it has been a struggle of a year.
Yeah. And I will say, everyone's like, oh, your son's bringing it home from daycare, this or that. My son didn't start daycare until January. I'd like to point that out. So I had November where I got sick and December. And being teachers, we have a very strong immune system.
Yeah, we're around it all the time.
Yeah, kids, they're just, even at the high school level, they're doing their best, but
man,
yeah.
We still have to remind kids to blow their noses. We just
Cover
had a
their
student.
mouth.
Yeah, we just had a student who was in school because she didn't realize she had mono, which is fantastic.
All right.
You can't help but be around germs constantly.
Right. So you just build up an immune system. You normally the first or second year of teaching, you really build up your immune system.
Yes. You hit your stride.
Right. And then even if you change schools, it's fine because the kids all have the same germs, let me tell you. So it's just whatever year it is, it's just those are the new germs of the week. So it doesn't really matter. But this year I would say this is probably the sickest I've ever been.
Yeah.
ever.
Besides the pregnancy,
Right.
which is
we'll
a
get
separate
to.
kind of
Yeah.
sickness. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say November, it started off with some sort of cold situation, cough thing. And it's the first time that I've probably taken any type of over-the-counter medicine in a long time. And my son was sick. I will say November, my son did get sick. He did get a cough.
Right.
And it was, it kind of lingers a little longer. They can't blow their nose. They can't clear their throat. They can't do any of those things.
Do you have the little Ava,
Yeah,
the
little
elephant nose
sucker thing? Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
aren't we cool? I have a, I don't know if you know, it's a nose Frida.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't know what a nose Frida is, it's a disgusting device,
Yeah.
but it's necessary sometimes. And it's basically something you stick up your child's nose, and then you have this big long straw where you basically try and suck what's in their nose out without swallowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no stopper in the
There
hose.
is a little bit of a
right
stopper, but you still have to be careful no matter what.
Right.
So, yeah. So, who knows?
So they didn't have that when my kids were
No.
born. So we used the little Ava suction thing, which was great.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine having to suck the boogers out of my kid's nose until I heard someone who had used it tell me how amazing it was to get their
All the
kids
stuff
cleaned out. And I
Right.
was like, oh, so maybe I should stop judging the vileness of this situation because
It's never,
it works.
Right. I don't think any parent is like, oh, yes. You know what I get to do today? I get to suck stuff out of my child's nose.
Yeah. Again, something else they don't tell you when you have kids. Like,
No.
I didn't think of it. I didn't ever put two and two together that when you're not a year old yet, you don't have the ability to blow your nose.
Right.
Just like I didn't realize as soon as kids were born, their nails started to grow instantly.
Right.
So I had to start cutting them at days old. And I was like, what do you mean their nails are already long? Like,
It's
I don't know
constant.
how I'm still alive,
I
really, with all of these naive things that happened as I was a first-time mom.
I know.
But you roll with the punches.
Yeah. Do you remember what you have to do to teach the kids to blow their nose?
The pediatrician said it's developmental. So,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So I would have my daughter who would blow her nose like this. You guys can't see. I'm going to show Lauren, then I'll explain. So she would spit her tongue out and thought it sounded like blowing because when my husband and I would blow our nose, that's what she heard.
Right.
So she knew the blow concept through her mouth and could not grasp it through her nose. And my son just never figured it out. We would hold the tissue on his nose and he would just leave it there. So it took probably until they were 5 or 6 for them to
Really?
know
How
to blow their nose. Now,
Right.
they would do it. Like I would hold the
the
tissue and I
tissue.
would say blow and they would do
Right.
it. But they couldn't do it well independently until they were school age.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds like the next 5 years of my life.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah, my son thinks it's hilarious when we blow our nose. He laughs. Like if he's getting a little cranky or anything like that, like that's what I'll do. I'll blow
Yeah.
my nose, and he thinks it's so funny too.
That's the best.
So I've had a lot of practice since November doing that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Just in preparation.
So I'm sure my surgeon is not listening to this podcast, but if you are, you should not listen to the rest of it because I'm about to say how I did not follow any of the things you told me to do before the surgery. So I've been sick forever. So
Forever, yeah.
November, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the walk-in clinic because I don't have a regular doctor, mostly because I moved here with my husband maybe 5 years ago, and I still just haven't set that
I haven't
up
gotten around to it.
because there were so many other doctors that I've had to see
Yeah.
that it's very hard to get that.
And a lot of times now, general practitioners will send you to a specialist anyway.
Right.
So
it's a lot of work to do that. And my gynecologist does physicals also. So it's not like I don't get all that in.
Right.
So that's not really a concern of mine. But so anyway, so I decided, I think November, I just kind of like wrote it out. I would say like I'd have a bad week, and then I'd have 2 weeks that are good, and then I'd have another bad week, and then, and it would keep going. And it was the same like nasal thing. And of course my son was fine. So, he had like a week that he was sick, and that was it. And then I would say January, he started daycare, and I was just sick the whole time. And he started to get like little things here or there, nothing that he got sent home for. And then I think at the end of January, like I just started getting like ridiculously sick. It was just like out of control. Yeah. I got pink eye. My son did not get pink eye.
Right, which is so contagious. You would think he would get it instantly.
Right. So I was like, where the heck did I get pink eye? It's not like pink eye was going on like someone in our class had pink eye or anything like that. Like, nope, Lauren just got pink eye. Like, whatever. Right. Okay. So I went to the walk-in clinic, and then 2 days later, I was like so ridiculously sick. It was like out of control. I had to go back to the walk-in, and I met the equivalent of me as a doctor. And I think that's what started to help me get on the right path, but not maybe the best path.
Right.
So she was like, look, she's like, if you've been sick since November, clearly it's not a virus. She's like, people keep saying it's a virus. They keep saying, no, it's not strep. Your strep comes back, so it's just a virus. She's like, you can't keep like not getting strep. Like there's clearly something in there. You need an antibiotic.
Yeah.
She's like, you're going in for surgery at that point, it was the following week. And she goes, they're not going to let you have the surgery if, you have pink eye and a sinus infection or some sort of infection. So she gave me this antibiotic. So great. Yeah. I'm like, I'm on the mend. This is great.
Everything will be fine.
Right. So that was on a Wednesday. My surgery was the following Wednesday. Okay. And so Sunday night, I get the stomach bug. And it was like, what the heck? Yeah. I don't understand. Like, so here I am, like, I'm like, I just cannot get sick. And of course, it's like in the week before surgery, I get pink eye, I have a sinus infection, and I have the stomach bug.
The universe just wanted to make sure they were getting all the viruses out of your system.
Yeah. We were just going top down and just like trying to get it all out. So I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I have never in my entire life taken Pepto-Bismol. And I took Pepto-Bismol for 2 days.
That surprises me.
Yes. And I don't normally take like anything over the counter.
Right.
Like I always.
You just like.
I just don't.
You tough it out. Yeah. You're good at that.
I ride it out. I don't even have Tylenol in my house because I don't take it for anything. So. Right. And let me tell you, after childbirth and breaking your leg, there is no pain that I do not know about. Right. Physical pain, I should say, that I don't know about. So pain to me is so relative at this point. Yeah. So there would be no reason for Tylenol in this house. So it's the day before my surgery, and it's the first time that I could put my contacts in the whole day. Yeah. And I just stopped taking the antibiotic just in case that was what was giving me the stomach bug. Like, who knew?
Right. You never know.
Right. So have the surgery. I was fine. Yep. No infection, nothing like that. So clearly I was.
I think it was because of your ride home.
Yeah, definitely. It was the care that Taryn gave me, Yep. So, and if you want to know my surgery, it was supposed to be to rip off a piece of my meniscus that apparently tore when I fell down the stairs, and they thought it was on the right side, but when he went in, it was actually on the left side, and then there was some tissue issues in my knee that, who knows? It's a waiting game. Yeah. So, it's always, we'll see what happens. So, so I was like, great. I'm like, I'm feeling well. It's all set. We're okay. And today is what, Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 weeks after surgery.
Yep.
Okay. So on this Monday, I got Sunday into Monday, I am sick again with a stomach bug.
Yes.
Here I am again with stomach bug. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
what am I doing wrong? My son was not sick.
Which is good.
Yes, very good. So we've only experienced probably one time in this house where it's traveled between my son, myself, and then my husband.
Oh.
I
hope that's it for you.
And my husband, first of all, my husband did not get sick really at all. Like the time that it went through all three of us, it wasn't that bad for my husband. The first time he did not get sick, and I told this story to Taryn already because it's so my husband if you knew him. I was like, I don't understand. Why are you not getting sick?
Yeah.
And it was in January, or it was at the end of December, beginning of January. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, how am I getting so sick? And he's sick and you're not sick. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. And my husband's like, oh, I don't know. And I went to go take one of my daily vitamins. And I literally just bought new daily vitamin gummies because one of the doctors had said, maybe I'm not metabolizing the pill form enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep getting sick because I don't have the vitamins in me. And I went to go take one and I was like, oh my gosh, where are all my vitamins?
They're like
they're half gone. And I asked my husband, he goes, oh yeah, I've been munching on them.
Munching on them.
Yeah. So my husband ate an equivalent of 12 days worth of vitamins in 4 hours.
Well, he's got the immune system of Mr. Incredible.
So his body was probably in such shock with all those vitamins. Like, what are these doing in here? Ooh, this is fun. I'm so healthy right now.
Did he go run a marathon? I feel great.
I was like, no wonder you feel great. I'm like, you're like hopped up on vitamin D and C. And by the way, they were also like women's vitamins. So
I'm sure. I'm sure he had really high folic acid at that point.
Yes. So it was excellent. So
that's one of my favorite stories.
Yes. So I can't and it was so funny because it was like 2 days later that I decided to do the sugar fast. Yeah. So I was like, I can't even use these gummy vitamins.
And have at it, hubby.
So I was like, okay, they're all yours. And then I went to the store to try and buy regular vitamins. And I went to 3 stores. So I went to CVS, Target, and Walgreens. Okay. Yeah. Who goes to 3 different stores to try and buy vitamins? But I had to.
Yeah.
When I went into Target, everything was a gummy except, which is so weird, for the prenatal vitamins.
Huh.
The prenatal vitamins are normally the ones that you struggle to find in the pills because so many people can't digest them. Right. So they tell you to take the gummies.
And you're feeling nauseous already from the pregnancy. Right. So pills on top of it is usually difficult.
Right. So I was like, I mean, all of Target, the entire aisle, even the men's stuff, it was all gummies.
And I'm sorry, why are we at a point where adults don't have pills for vitamins? Right. Why were there so many gummy options?
Right. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just Target. Like maybe it's like a thing that they have because they have a whole like pharmacy wellness thing going on right now. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to CVS.
Yeah.
So I go to CVS, which is a drugstore for our non-American listeners because we have such loyal non-American listeners. So I go there and again, it's the same thing. It's like all these
gosh.
And so I happened to get at Walgreens, another drugstore, and I was like, okay, so I bought prenatal vitamins. I'm like, I don't know what else to buy. Like,
so now your hair and nails look wonderful.
Exactly. So I was just like, whatever. I'm like, I guess this is what it is. So let's talk a little bit about when one child gets sick and then it runs through the whole house and how hard it is on us.
Well, yeah. So that happened a lot with my kids. We shared only when it came to germs. But for when my kids started daycare, they were a little bit older because we had the babysitter for a while. But when they started at the daycare, they would get sick And one would be a little run down and have a really bad night sleeping. And my son just couldn't drain. Like he would be congested and it would last for a month. And then within a couple days, my daughter would not be able to breathe and was up all night. So within like a 3 to 4 day period, I was having 2 to 3 sleepless nights because my husband sleeps through everything. So I would be the one getting up with them. Right. And then because I was run down and laying with them as they're breathing their germy breath onto my face and I'm doing my best to take care of them, I would then get sick.
Of course.
And so then, and this another thing that wasn't talked about before I had kids, or I just didn't think, I really have to do some soul searching on why I was so oblivious to all of these things. I didn't get a break.
Right.
When I was sick, I still had to get up and get the kids ready and get them packed for daycare and get myself ready for work and make sure my husband knew what was going on. And so to backtrack a little, before I was even engaged, I had sinus surgery because I had chronic sinus infections for many years and migraines. So they thought it was connected. So they fixed the deviated septum. They fixed some polyps I had in my sinuses. They cleaned them out. So now when I get sinus infections, it's been probably 14, 16 years since I had the surgery. My sinuses don't fill up and make me sound congested. My sinuses fill up and drain down the back of my throat. Ugh. So I get really bad sore throats, but I don't sound sick. However, I still feel equally as awful as when I couldn't breathe. So my husband doesn't realize
that you're sick,
that I'm sick, and he still expects me to be doing the laundry and washing the dishes and making dinner and prepping food for the next day. So I would get so resentful then because I was exhausted and I was like being a terrible mom. Like put another $20 in the therapy jar for my kids because I was like putting on the TV and letting them sit on me as I was sleeping on the couch. They would like get a snack and sit. One was on my back and one was on my legs, and I would just sleep because I would feel so sick. Right. And they, of course, at that point are feeling fine.
Right.
And then, a few days pass and my husband would get it. And then, oh my God, I can't breathe. I'm so sick. And I would then have to take care of my husband. And I'm nurturing by nature in the sense that I will take care of you.
Right.
So like I would be like, oh God, now my husband's sick. So I would redo pretty much everything I did for the twins besides like sleeping with him through a sleepless night.
Right.
And like I would get him orange juice and popsicles and I would make chicken soup and I would make sure all of the chores were done while I was still feeling equally as bad because I still haven't had a chance to rest.
Right.
To recover.
Right.
And he would be fine. And it got to the point where I had to say to him, why is it that when I get sick, your expectations of what I'm doing around the house don't change? And when you're sick, I drop everything to make sure that you're supported.
Right.
And that you don't have to lift a finger so that you can heal and recover. And he said, when were you sick? And it was like a light bulb went off. That I was like, my husband is a very typical man, and is oblivious. He really had no idea that I was sick because I didn't sound sick.
Right.
So I've gotten to the point now, and we still share. Although this year, knock on wood,
I know you've
I've been a rock star. I haven't taken a sick day this year, except for when my kids are sick.
Right.
Or for doctor's appointments that are like annual checkups. Yeah. But I've been so healthy, and both of my kids got sick, and I helped them through it, and they were fine. And my husband still got sick. And it just, I have to say, when I'm the one that's sick, this is how I feel. I don't feel well. I am sick, and I need your help.
Right.
So it was kind of like a relationship realization. Like, you fool, when I say I don't feel good, I just assumed and expected you to be like, oh, she doesn't feel good, I'm going to pick up the slack.
Right.
I didn't realize I needed to be so articulate.
Right.
And I didn't realize how exhausting it is to take care of children who aren't sick when you are
sick. Yeah.
Like,
it's so draining.
It's like that commercial where you see like the dad at the door and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it in today. I think I have the flu. And there's a baby standing in the crib and it's like, oh, you don't get a day off because you're a parent. It's true.
Right. And it's kind of hard. My husband has never even experienced me being sick. So it's kind of like the same way. Like he just... Unless I say, like, I am sick, I cannot do this anymore. Yeah. He doesn't even know what to do because he's never even seen me sick.
Right.
In 5, 6, I don't know.
A while.
He's going to be so mad. 7 years, 8 years? I don't know.
My husband and I just passed our 18th dating anniversary.
Ooh.
I feel old.
You shouldn't. So, and one thing I try and stick to very like natural cleaning things, and I don't use bleach in my house because I do think that having germs and getting sick is part of life, and especially for a young child, I want him to get as much of everything now as opposed to later on in life. Like when we were younger, like chickenpox. If your friend had chickenpox, your parents were like, "Go see that kid.
Yes,
get it."
Yeah. My sister got chickenpox, and my mom made me sleep in her bedroom.
Yes. So that's like kind of what they want you to do now is, get your kids sick now. So like later on, it's not an issue. And I remember I broke down and I was like, get the Clorox wipes, bring them home. I wiped down everything with Clorox stuff, even my son's stuff. And then I had to wipe it off with water. But like, I was just like, we just can't get rid of it.
Right. And it's not the time of year where you can open up your windows and let everything air out. So it just sits and festers in your house.
Right. Because we do live in New England and it's cold. And actually, we had some really cold days this year, like below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So, it's been tough. So I think the one thing that Taryn and I have both learned is communicating with our partners to say, like, we are sick and we need help. And
it's okay to take a break. As a mom, it's okay to say, I can't do this. That was hard for me.
Right. Because I try and live in that philosophy, like, your kids are only so... this age so long, so don't let it pass you by.
Right.
So I actually have a hard balance of taking a break because I'm like, well, I can't miss it. Like this is it. Like, he'll only be like this for, X amount of time. Yeah. And because I broke my leg, I feel like I missed out on so much. So sometimes I take it to the extreme and it's like, my husband is not saying he's not going to help.
Right. No, exactly. And my husband's the same way. He will help, but he just doesn't know what he needs help with, what he needs to help with.
Right. And I think sometimes my husband, unless I physically say it, he doesn't know that I need help. He just thinks, well, she's doing it, so she's fine.
Yeah. Until I'm sobbing while I'm mopping the floor and he's so confused. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, I just don't feel good. Oh.
Yes. So, okay. Well, I think that, I don't know. I mean, wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Do what you need to do to stay healthy and be okay with taking a break for yourself. Your self-care is equally as important or more important than the care of the people in your life. Because if you're not well, they're not going to be well.
And even if you can get, I'm sure single moms, it's impossible for you, but 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, even if you could just get that, if you can't get a whole day or
a chunk of time,
because that time you can rest and rejuvenate.
Yeah.
When you're sick, that's your only way that you're ever going to be healthy.
Right.
Again. So, okay. So that'll wrap up today's show. Follow us on social media, see what we have to say. Tell us how you get through all the sickness and illnesses and everything like that. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter that no one follows me on. So, whatever. But I throw stuff up on there just for fun sometimes. So, yeah. All right. So we will see you next week on the podcast. Bye.
Bye.